First, joining us now with reaction, author of the upcoming book, Liberal Privilege, Donald Trump Jr. Congrats on your first #1 bestseller. You know, I'm watching this.
Thank you, Sean.
Donald Trump Jr., 1,800 questions versus 34. 1,803, if I'm going to be exact, based on my count. I might be a little off, and the mob, boy, they'd jump all over me if I didn't have the exact number. And I didn't include Cardi B's hard-hitting interview. He doesn't talk. They hide him. He's like your dad is running against a ghost.
100%, Sean, and that's the reason I wrote the book Liberal Privilege, because that is the perfect example. You can have a candidate that wants to replace the President of the United States. He refuses to speak to anyone in the press. He's incapable of getting through a press conference. When he speaks to a group of 10 people, he needs a teleprompter, and he still screws that up. I mean, it's mind-boggling. And by the way, no one in the press says anything. They're, oh, this is perfectly normal. This is, Joe Biden. I mean, when you have clear cognitive decline like this, they run him because the media can try to sell to middle America that this guy is somehow a moderate. But you're not a moderate if you're appointing Beto O'Rourke as your gun czar. You're not a moderate if you're appointing Kamala Harris as your VP, who has the most liberal record in the Senate. You're not a moderate if you put the Bernie Sanders Joint Unity platform on your website, because it's the Communist Manifesto of the new age, Sean. There's nothing moderate about Biden, but the media is going to give him billions worth of free coverage, hiding his obvious flaws, hiding the graft of his family, hiding the 50 years of bad decisions that he's made in Washington, D.C. as a swamp creature for half a century. That's not me saying it. That's Robert Gates, Obama's own Secretary of Defense, who literally said Joe Biden has been on the wrong side of every decision of his entire political career. That's really saying something. That's impressive. A monkey guessing at random could have performed better than Joe Biden in terms of major decisions for America. And I haven't even started talking about the way he built up China over that same 50 years.
Or Iran. You know, sometimes he confuses the day of the week is the office he's running for. Seems to forget that we're actually endowed by not the thing, Joe, you know, the thing, but God, the creator of everything.
The thing.
You know, where was he with coronavirus 10 days after the first known case in America? He was calling your father's travel ban and subsequent travel bans and the first quarantine in 60 years and then the largest medical mobilization in history, hysterical, xenophobic, and fear-mongering. And where's he been? Look at this guy beaten in Portland. I'll re-rack it for our audience. It's hard to watch. We have more coming up. This guy beaten nearly to death. We don't even know if he'll survive based on reports. We've made calls all day. Where's Joe? Where is Joe?
Their solution for that, Sean, is to defund the police, reallocate it to social workers. I mean, they're sitting by as BLM is destroying Democrat-run cities. These are cities that have been controlled by Democrats in many cases, and in some cases for up to a century. And somehow it's magically Donald Trump's fault. I mean, this is the quintessential example of liberal privilege. This stuff shouldn't be happening. It cannot be going on in America. And guess what? It's not just happening in these big cities. It's only a matter of time till the Democrats, who are literally siding with criminals and offenders over law-abiding, tax-paying citizens, till this comes into your backyard, Sean. It's inevitable. They're incapable of pushing back against the bad guys. That's their base.
I cannot believe he's allowed to stay silent. Look, we've known the media, they have smeared, slandered, besmirched, they libel, they're involved in conspiracy theories and hoaxes, and they have from day one, and been after not only your dad, but as much collateral damage as they can take, and that would be you too. They ruined Carter Page's life for 4 years, and also General Flynn's life, and guys like, let's see, Paul Manafort,
and Brett
Roger
Kavanaugh,
Stone,
and the Covington Catholic kids.
Yeah. And I'm wondering, and this week is going to be,
There's no one they
pass.
won't destroy to get their way, Sean. There's no one they won't destroy to get their way. Look at what they did to Nick Sandmann, who's a 16-year-old kid. His crime? Being a male conservative from the South who supports Trump and happens to be a Christian. I mean, that's a cancelable offense today in terms of the eyes of the Democrats. It's no longer okay to simply be apolitical. You must be woke. problem with woke is the goalposts move. If you're woke today, by tomorrow you're no longer woke. You're then part of the problem. They don't know what's going on. They're run by lunatics, and the reality is the farthest left, the most lunatic of the lunatics, those are the people who are the thought leaders of the Democrat Party. Those are the people who are going to be pulling, Joe Biden's purse strings. He's the guy that's just the puppet. He's been a puppet for a long time, but if you don't think that he is, if you think he's the same guy, all you need to do is get on YouTube and watch a video of him in the Senate floor, say 15 years ago. Look at that and look at the guy today and tell me they're the same people. The only difference is they can try to sell to America that Joe Biden is somehow a moderate. He's not. It's a lie. You need to educate yourselves before you go vote, because the media is in this game. They've given up. They're the object of pretense. They don't even pretend anymore to be objective. They are liberal activists, and that's it.
All right, Donald Trump Jr. By the way, may not be a good week for you and your family to watch. Just saying. But it's only so much,
I have to, Sean. It's comic relief. It's comic relief at this point.
It's comical, but I got to be honest.
The idea that you as the American taxpayer.
If their stated policies Donald Trump Jr. are ever implemented, it's over. You can't recover from this madness
100%.
of socialism.
You, the American taxpayer, have the privilege of spending $4 trillion to give health care to illegals. Now, you don't get that for your own family, but you can pay for theirs. Education, housing for criminals coming out of prison. You can pay for that, but you don't get to get it for yourself and for your kids. That is the state of the Democrat Party.
And how's that Obamacare working out? Donald Trump Jr., thank you. Good luck with your new book, by the way.